Good morning and welcome to the Medium channel where we support you in your awakening process. And we're going to be talking a lot the next several months about awakening because we're about to hit that spike of these earth changes or these changes in consciousness or this elevation in consciousness that we're experiencing. So welcome everybody. I'm sorry, I'm for the live people anyway. I'm sorry that I'm a couple minutes late this morning. Been that kind of morning. What can I tell you? It's Sunday. It's my Saturday. It's Sunday. And I'm really, really happy to be here. So, okay. So Sharita stars in. So I don't have to talk too much about astrology because she's going to fill us in. We'll have Sharita back sometime before election day. And if you want to elaborate a little bit, Sharita, on all the beautiful astrological and numerological happenings overlapping this year's election day and what that's going to mean. Well, actually, we'll save that for a live stream. Never mind. So I'm just again, for the live people, it takes a couple of minutes for people to get their notifications. So I wait a couple of minutes before I really get into the tarot stuff. But if you're new, hello, welcome to the Medium channel and welcome to Tarot Time. If you'd like to say hi and where in the world you're from, and if on a Sunday morning, if you're coffee, tea, or caffeine free, we always inquiring minds want to know. And right now I'm drinking water, but I did have tea this morning. I broke down and had a little bit of caffeine. I could not help it. But anyways, here we are. It's a great time to be alive. It's a challenging time, but it's a beautiful time to be here. We've chosen to be here to make a difference and to change the trajectory, or maybe change isn't the right word. Enhance or alter the trajectory of human evolution, because that's what's happening. We are evolving probably at a rate that's 1,000 times greater than any time we've been alive. Even if you're 100 years old and you're coming here, welcome. So what else is going on? It's Sunday morning. I haven't had breakfast yet. I had an orange. It's kind of overcast. The colors are peak here in the Catskills. I'm in a great mood, and I hope you are also. And some sunny New Paltz. Well, I'm in kind of partly cloudy uh, Phoenicia, or the Phoenicia area, and that kind of matches the weather in my brain right now also. But it's all good. So I want to do actually a couple of shout outs. Firstly, of course, for Sharita, because she's here at this time and she does a lot of detailed analysis on what's going on in the country during the we're in a Pluto return period till 2024, the first one the USA's experience. And the Mars is basically isn't going to be moving much for the next month or so, maybe a degree or two as it stations and then goes retrograde in Gemini. And there's a lot of other choice things, like today's the 16th day of the month. Every full moon until I think April is going to happen on the 16th degree of its sign. That's the Tower card in tarot. That's the Shattered Citadel in Chaldean numerology. It denotes big changes. This tower in this world, the society needs to fall in order to be rebuilt on stronger foundations. Expect a lot of global truths to surface. We've been saying this for a while, but we've also been saying it's going to be at its peak or at its crescendo in the late fall and the winter. We've been saying that for a while also. Well, here we are, and we're here for you, and we're here with you during this transition. We are a community of love, a community of the heart. So, yeah, interesting things going on around town, so to speak, around the news. You may have heard a little bit of an uptick about nuclear threats. Lovely. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago in the October psychic forecast. You may have heard that there's a new I think it's a bivariant vaccine booster or something that's been put out by Pfizer, maybe Moderna also. And interestingly enough, and it's obviously a coincidence, of course, but the week, let's see, it came out last week, I think, or whatever. But the same week, all of a sudden, news stories. I look at the headline. I don't read the news too much, but coincidentally, we're seeing about 5 times as many stories about these horrific new subvariants that evade all kinds of immunity from prior shots or whatever. And so we're seeing that coming on the news right when this vaccine happens to be unveiled and available to the public. And by the way, they finally started to do human trials on it, so it was actually um, approved before the human trials, at least according to Russell Brand and the information he puts out on his channel. Um, so yeah, so anyway, of course, is there a relationship? And is this basically like a marketing strategy, from the pharmaceutical companies? Well, I don't know. That's for smarter people to figure that out. I have no opinion on it. Um, at some point, I may do something on Rumble also, which is a non-censored platform. I mean, where's the time going to come from? But if I do get on Rumble, suddenly I am going to have an opinion. But then anyway, that said, let's get into some tarot stuff. Oh, the shout outs. Okay. Firstly, Sharita Starr, she does a podcast. She has all kinds of amazing information. No, do you do a podcast? Wait a second. Maybe I'm predicting the future. I don't know. She has a Patreon site that she does a lot of contributing and helps give us the heads up. Also on YouTube, there's Armand Diaz, the Integral Astrology channel. He does a weekly forecast based on astrology, and you can check that out. And I also wanted to give a new friend, Lily Nova, a shout out. She has a channel called Lily Nova Starseed, and basically, I forgot when I did my first starseed video, maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago. So I was researching on the internet, and then I found her channel, and I found her information to be very authentic and very on point. So I started to follow her channel, comment on her videos, and we were sort of becoming friendly that way. And I'm hoping to actually have her on the Medium channel next month. So we'll see if that happens. But her channel is called Lily Nova Starseed, so I wanted to give her a little shout out also. Anyway, what are you guys saying here, Sharita? Why bother? Good morning, Shelley. Good morning, Krista from Sharita. There are new the interesting thing is, and I only told you guys half the story. These new variants were discovered last summer. They're not new. Like it's not like all of a sudden they discovered them. They discovered like the really bad one in Asia in August, and the one that's in Europe, I think, around the same time. So why are we suddenly hearing so much more about it this week? Again, it could just be one of those, coincidences. New vaccines. It just happens to you be the only thing now that's effective against these new badass variants that evade all immunity. So anyway, you guys get the point. So the other interesting thing about that is that in the news and in the narratives now they are including natural immunity and the role of that. And the last couple of articles I read are actually in kind of a roundabout way admitting that our natural immunity is better than what the vaccines offered us. This is not me just saying this. This is what I'm reading on mainstream news now. 4 months ago, if I'd suggested this on YouTube, I would have got one of those lovely little warnings, medical misinformation. But then I also was able to see part of an interview of one of the whistleblowers from Pfizer claiming that what that was known like a year ago, that was already known. It just wasn't publicized. Again, this is what people are saying. I'm not here to what's the right words, to sway your thinking or convince you of anything. What I am here to do is say, do your own research. Think for yourself, do your research, understand that there's a lot of bias, there's a lot of rabbit holes, there's a lot of programming, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Some of them will become conspiracy facts. Others will be conspiracy theories that were derived from the same forces that are trying to control and manipulate us. So there's conspiracy theories that'll appeal to the right-wing people, the Trump people. There's other ones that will appeal to the left-wing people. There's other ones that will appeal to the spiritual and new age people. But they're all traps, and we need to learn to be in our heart. We talk a lot about heart-brain coherence, cultivating the frequencies of the heart. The heart knows. The brain thinks, but the heart knows. We've been just so programmed to not feel that we actually have to learn how to sit in meditation. We have to learn how to break those barriers of programming in order to really learn how to feel again, to really learn how to open our hearts again. That's part of the awakening. And when we do that, then we can use our intuition. We won't be misled by our mind or by our programming. We can access pure intuition, pure spirit, pure God, and get the answers that way. And then we can be discerning when we do our research and understand and feel what's bullshit versus what is real. And that's what we need to do now. And we need to prepare for the worst, hope for the best. The more people that are prepared for the worst, the less likely the worst case scenario is going to come up. How many times in your life have you prepared and prepared? And the one time that you didn't prepare, that was the one time that the worst case scenario came up. I know it's happened to me. I'm willing to bet it's happened to a lot of you also. So anyways, on that note, and Shelly saying, yes, ask the question. Oh, I have a new deck today. Thanks to one of our community members. I think it's Jody, but I have the Angel Tarot now also. So we're going to break out a new deck today. How exciting is that? On Rumble, yes. Yeah, and that's a good point, Sharita. It's very possible the YouTube's on borrowed time right now. Well, no, it's not on borrowed time. Spirit say no, it's not that, but it is a fading platform, and these newer platforms are going to start to get more popular. And the thing with Rumble, it's good because it's uncensored, but then again, you have to kind of wade through all the BS, because uncensored means that all the loonies can come out of the woodwork and do video. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but uncensored is good. Now, I do have a Patreon site. Yeah, that is crowdfunding. So it is based on pledges. I mean, it's $5 a month. If you want to join Spirit Mind Family, that's my Patreon site. And I wouldn't say it's uncensored, but it's less censored than YouTube is. I'll put it that way. So anyhow, we're currently in Libra season, right? But in a week, we're going to go into Scorpio season. I picked a couple of cards just for the fun of it. This is the Justice card. It should be key 8 in my opinion. The old tarot, Justice was key 8, and the Strength card was key 11. They switched that. But anyway, I digress slightly. This is the card for Libra that represents the sign Libra. You notice the scales here. Justice and balance. The sword can be about truth and about using the mind, the intellect. Libra is an intellectual air sign, and that's that. But once we shift into Scorpio, we shift into this guy, the Death card. So we go from key 8 or key 11 to key 13 here. And and when we come into Scorpio couldn't care less about diplomacy, the energy, or being in the truth, or being in integrity. Scorpio is really about evolution. It wants the truth. It wants to evolve. It wants to blow everything up and rebuild on stronger foundation. And and that's what the Death card's about. It's about transformation. It's about symbolic death. Scorpio's the sign of death, and Halloween or Samhain falls early to middle Scorpio season for a reason. And it's an important process. Every time we have a spiritual initiation, like when we go, like when we grow spiritually, it's not a gentle slope. We plateau for a while, we gain new information and new knowledge, and then when we're ready, we quantum leap to our next level, just like the electrons quantum leap when more energy is introduced into the atomic system. That's where that term comes from, quantum leaping. But we apply that to consciousness in spiritual lingo, so to speak. So and that's what happens. You just kind of go into the next level. It's like an initiation. But when we do go into spiritual initiation, we always have to give something up, whether it's an aspect of our programming, an aspect of our belief system, an aspect of our experience. And that's where the death comes up. Sometimes we have to give up our friends, sometimes our lovers and partners, for the sake of our own growth and spirituality. But so death, physical death as well as spiritual death isn't always a happy experience, but it's a necessary experience. So Scorpio teaches us that, and we're coming to that season now. Okay, Sharita, did I get it right? What's the Leaf is always looking at both sides. Thank you. Scorpio is, let's take that and transform whatever. Here, you know what? Instead of me reading this, let me show you the comment here from Sharita. I think that's a beautiful summation or synopsis of the differences of the seasons. Thank you. All right, so let's do a meditation card now. Something for us as a community, for our group to work on during the coming week based on the energies. So, as I often say, when it comes to any form of psychic sensing, which includes using tarot cards as a tool, mediumship, or all of that, when we're thinking, we're not connecting, and when we're connecting, we're not thinking. So we have to learn how to step out of the egoic or the intellectual mind. And when we step out of that, we automatically step into spirit. That's how it works. And so what I'm doing now is, even though I am talking, because I've been in my meditation and mediumship training for years and years and years, I can step into my my spiritual or my intuitive mind while I'm still engaging my intellectual mind, because language is an intellectual process. Talking and all that, and taking energy and formulating ideas and communicating. Very Libra. Scorpio doesn't have filters. Libra often does. And okay, so now for a moment, I do have to shut off the thinking mind so that I can be guided to the right card for us. This is the one. Nice card to meditate on. The Knight of Cups. Knights represent movement, change. It's this element of fire. And then we have cups, which is water. What happens when you put fire and water together? Is that lava? Wait a second. Oh, no. That's melted rocks. Never mind. Alcohol, fire, water. There you go. Stay off the sauce, everybody. Okay. But in any event, all joking aside, the way to meditate with tarot, the way that I recommend, is like any other meditation. You get present, and then either you use this image. This is from the Hanson Roberts deck, or if you have your own tarot deck, use your own image. And what you do is, in your mind, you step into the card. This is like a window or a doorway to a whole panoramic view, and you step into the card and you feel the energy. That's the first thing. It's like when people are buying a house, I recommend that they forget about everything, like what the house looks like, what neighborhood it's in. Just clear your mind and walk into that house. And every time you walk through a door, you walk into a new world. So when you walk from the outside into that house, what do? Feel the energy. Does the energy feel good or bad? Do you feel better or worse? If you feel worse walking into that house, Tell your realtor, this doesn't feel right. Let's go to the next one. If you feel better or even neutral, then go ahead and check it out. So what do you feel when you step in the card? What do you feel emotionally? Again, open your heart. We need to learn how to feel again. And most people will be like, I feel just fine. I can feel this, I can feel that. But no, you don't. It's we've been programmed, and programming runs deep, and our programming is the lens that we see the world in. So we're basically seeing like our world, like I can feel through non-feeling eyes and a blocked heart. So when you start to open up, it's very profound, and when it happened to me, it's like, oh my God, it's like I thought that I was aware and feeling things, and I had no idea, because it's on such a higher level. Now, cups is emotions, energy, emotion, and we experience that energy in motion as hormones in the body. That's what emotions are. Cups represent emotions. So you can make this meditation this week an exercise in opening your heart and feeling, and maybe treat this figure on the horse as a spirit guide that's guiding you in that direction, to open up to more of your own ability to feel things, to feel the subtleties, to feel energy, to feel other people, to feel yourself. A lot of people don't feel themselves because they've had traumas, they've had pain, and they've shut it off. So, when we open up, people, have to understand that there's discomforts involved. We have to shed layers of programming, deep suppressed trauma. That sucks to feel that again. But when we release it, we only have to feel it one last time before it dissipates back into the ethers and becomes just energy again. We make energy into something more of a what's the right word, like energy becomes more, oh God, I'm losing it this morning. Anyway, that's how to meditate with tarot. Okay, I'm back. So so just do that, see what messages you get, see how you feel, what insights you get. So that's our meditation card. So I want to do a 3-card spread for the week, for us, for what's going on in the world, what's going on in our lives, and stuff like that. I'm missing out on your conversation as always. A lot of wows. I'm missing the wow. The mix in this last full moon. Yeah, Aries is 16 degrees. Yeah, Aries is fire sign. 16 is water, right? Because it's Neptune roots. It reduces to 7. Of course, 16 is a very special vibration of the root number 7. But we talked about that more last week. Somebody say, is this Aries reading? This is a reading for our community, not just for Aries. So, you know what? Did I bring my clipboard? No, I did not. All right. So we're going to be holding these cards in my hand rather than my clipboard. What fun. Told you I was kind of partly cloudy this morning. We can do this. We can improvise because we are the medium channel. We are strong. All right. So let me clear my mind again and ask Spirit to help me draw the right cards here. Okay. This one. This one. And this one. All right. This is an interesting mix. Let me see how I'm going to do this in a way that you guys can see. Oh my goodness. I'm just looking around. Is there anything that I can improvise this with? No. All right. This is how we're doing this today. Here we go. So the first card actually, sorry. This is how they came out. This is number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay. So the Ten of Swords, that's number one. The Ten of Swords has a very similar vibe as the Death card that we were talking about earlier, coming to Scorpio season. The next one is the Strength card reverse. We talked about the Justice card. Strength card should be key 11, in my opinion. I believe it was the people connected to Arthur Waite that changed the original tarot, specifically those two cards. But if you look in Chaldean numerology, where you have numbers 10 through 21 very kind of generally and loosely follow the tarot symbology. I think it's more like the tarot symbology evolved out of Chaldean numerology, but it's key 11 that's the lion muzzle with clenched fist. You'll notice that there's a lion here also, and it's really about overcoming the dark or negative or difficult forces both within ourselves and around ourselves. So this Ten of Swords is making me feel like a lot of us are going through very profound, like feelings of loss this week. I want to say very profound. It's almost like loss of self, loss of identity. Not. Yeah, I mean, you guys don't have to see my face. Maybe I'm being a little bit vain, but here I am. I'm in the picture, so are the cards. So maybe loss of vanity, right, or loss of some measure of ego, or it could be some loss of physical possessions. But the root meaning, the Ten of Swords, again, it's like it's the death of the old self. It's the swords are in the back. We get a lot of negative energy coming through us from behind because a lot of people are very underhanded. I hate to say it, but it's true. They're programmed that way. I mean, people are generally beautiful, and that's what when the master teachers come through, they always remind us how beautiful and how resilient that we are as humans. But we get programmed. So I think this week, a lot of us are going to have to face up to things just not being the way that they were, or having some kind of personal losses or change or coming in. There may be one or two of you that are really pulling away from old relationships and stuff like that. And really, it kind of tells me that it's really a time to be seeking and finding value in things, and in the simple things also, like the simple things in our life. Well, what can we still be grateful for? What do we have? We have our honor, we have our integrity, we have our heart, we have our we have a lot still, and it's going to get better, but things have to fall. So on a global level, I think one thing I've been seeing an explosion lately. We may see something like that happen somewhere around the world. We understand, and actually in December last year, it was either for September or October, I forgot which month, we talked about China kind of getting involved in the war. And yeah, I did predict a war between Russia and Ukraine months before, although technically those countries have been in war since 2014, but that's beside the point. But that was predicted. That came through in the yearly forecast. And then in this time of the year, think about China getting involved and it becoming, trending towards a world war, basically. Is World War III on the horizon? We'll see, and I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that we certainly are trending in that direction. And recently, I saw something about China beefing up its military and becoming world class. I mean, I thought it already was, but whatever. So the Ten of Swords, with that, we have to just be okay with letting things go and understanding that. So the strength card, we have to really be in our power and find our resiliency. And it's reverse. So if we have moments of weakness or whatever, that's fine. That's part of being human, basically. um and it's okay to be all right with that. But this is, again, key 11 or key 8, take your pick. But again, this is about overcoming things, overcoming things within ourselves. And it reminds us that things that we don't like, or that we perceive in other people that are negative, are often reflections of our inner selves that we're not willing to see or look at it at this time. So our relationships become our mirrors or a reflection of our own inner truths. And sometimes we don't want to see those inner truths. It's much easier to blame the other person, or to end a friendship, or a romance that way, not taking into account that it's reflecting our own inner issues. So the idea, I think, with what it's telling us is that we really do need to look within. We have to understand that we are being subjected to a lot of negative energy because those powers that be still want to control things. I am of a very firm belief that if you want to break it down to a good versus evil thing, that the good is already won, but the nature of evil is they won't give up until their last breath. So, point being is that if my theory is correct, and this is validated through a lot of channels, by the way, a lot of people that do channeling, if that's correct, it's going to get worse because they know that they're in danger of defeat, and they're going to try even harder. So we have to gear up for that and be ready. So we have to be strong. So out of moments of weakness can come moments of resolve, and that can lead to greater strength and greater resilience. Then we have the Seven of Cups, which is it's watery. It's seven. It's Neptune. Cups is water. It tends to be very ungrounded energy. It tends to also point in different possibilities. And I feel like it's telling us as a community, maybe you personally, that to firstly think outside of the box. Understand that as everything changes, your jobs might change, the structure of monies might change, the structure of governments might change. Um, but you have special talent. You have a special gift. You may or may not know what that is yet. Now's the time to start to look within and get outside of the box. You can do that by practicing presence. And when you're present and you're not thinking and you're feeling your heart, in that moment, you're not accessible by negative programming or outside programming. When you're present and you're not thinking and you're vibrating the heart frequency in that moment, you're not subjected to the programming. And then you can start to access more of your spirit, more of your intuition. And always ask, and trust what comes. And if nothing comes, ask tomorrow and ask the next day. It's like, what's my next step? What am I here for? What's my life purpose? Things like that, because I think a lot of us are going to feel like things are unraveling in their lives and their families and stuff, and not really sure of what direction to go in, and knowing that they can't do what they've been doing, but not sure what to replace that with or what to substitute that with. So this is a very good time to go within and just to try not to you buy into too much of what's going on outside. We have to be aware. We have to be warriors. We have to assess the playing field and strategize. We have to know our enemy, as it were. And if you're a spiritual person that wants to grow spiritually and wants to keep developing and you vibe with nature and all that stuff, the enemy is basically the system that's trying to prevent us from doing that. That's trying to shift the balance and make us overly dependent on things like technology and stuff like that. So we have to find the balance. Technology is a good thing. I wouldn't be talking to you right now if it wasn't for technology. So it's not negative, but it can be used in negative ways, especially if it's not balanced. So we have to balance that with meditation or some practice like that. I do yoga and qigong and stuff like that. I have a daily spiritual practice that's virtually 24/7. I think this is what we need. We need to be spiritually strong and sound. Those powers that be want to weaken us spiritually. So this is, we're a conscious community. We're here to assist in the awakening process. So this is the message that I'm getting from the cards. I'm going to flip them around to see if there's anything else. I could say, no, let's do this is called the influence of the angels tarot is what this is called. And again, I think it's Jody, but whoever gifted me this for my birthday, thank you. And it's a standard 78 card tarot deck. Here's what the back of the cards look like. So we'll give you a little thing. Nice gold um, sides. I like that in cards. Yeah, this is again the season of gold. Like the leaves of the trees here in upstate New York are peaking now. At least in my neck of the woods. Gold is rich as wealth. Gold is one of the heart colors. That's where we find true wealth. It is through finding divine compassion and divine love. And it's interesting because money is a form of wealth also. So if we find spiritual and energetic wealth, we become more magnetic to money. For those of us that are worried about money, and of course we're programmed to worry about money because that diminishes our power also. So again, systems of control in the society. It's been this way for couple of millennia and longer even. Look back at Roman times, look back at Jesus's times, look back in was it the Crimean Wars or the conflicts in Egypt and Persia, back in what 2,000-3,000 BC. So it's not a new phenomena. It's just gone to a point with the technology that it's gone to this point where it just can't go on this way. It's got to shift and change. So awareness is the key. Anyway, this is the card I'm being drawn to. Actually, this is the one. Oh, I got two. All right. So when two come out, I kind of read them as one. So this is the Angels. I have to flip them around. I don't know what card I'm looking at. So we've got the King of Wands and we've got the Queen of Wands. Oh, how beautiful. The King and the Queen of Wands of fire. So that's interesting. So this is, again, finding, that balance. It's interesting because fire is kind of this raw power and this raw element. And when we talk about like partnership, that's it's kind of more of a refined energy basically. But, find that balance of masculine and feminine. We all are kings and queens in our own right. And, we can draw a lot on our partners, our best friends right now. And let me just see what else this is showing me. All right. Anyway, I just figured I'd pull these. I just opened this deck, so I haven't really charged them for use yet. But anyway, you get to see them. It's interesting. I got the King and the Queen together, so I kind of like that. I also have Native American cards for those that are new to the Native American tarot. So that can help me to sort of augment the message of the morning, or messages as it were. Rise up, warriors. Yes, it is our time to rise up. We are spiritual warriors, not victims. So again, we can only feel sorry for ourselves for a minute. Then we have to go back into action. All right. So clearing my mind. Let's see. And we got looks like the ace of the one of blades, or the ace of sword. Aces are new beginnings. Again, thank you, Sharita. Never compromise. Um, living consciously. Shelley's writing the pedestal people sold their souls. Yeah, I have a little thing. About putting people on pedestals, because when that happens, they treat you like fans. Basically is what happens. Not, I don't think that's what Shelley meant, but anyway, integrity, honesty, and truth above all. So swords can be about truth. Now this is blades in that it's like a hatchet. Use hatchet to make firewood and other things like that. To chop things. I think one of the things that it's showing is getting back to basics. It may not be a bad idea to have a little bit of survival skills if we need it. To be banded with community, to know your local farmers, all that stuff. It's not like food shortage or coming food shortages are here. Some neighborhoods are hit harder than others. It's more like how much further is this going to go? To what degree is this going to go? but the truth behind what's happening, just assume that because it's been shown in many ways. It's not even in the realm of conspiracy theories or anything like that. It's been shown for a long time that the end game of all that's going on here is the centralization of powers of governments and so forth. And that's, I mean, on one hand, like a world like community and government is a wonderful utopian idea, and I love it. When we talk about centralizing powers, like who has the power and for what ends and what means is it, and that's when it becomes a negative thing. So basically, for whatever reason, looking at this card is sort of reminding me of that. But in any event, we have to have our own ideas and to break through things, and a lot with the with understanding the mind. So I think it's just a reminder to understand this is what's going on, and this is what we're up against. And they don't like people to awaken and become conscious because they lose power, like their agenda won't fulfill itself. So getting back to the original point is, the resources, the raw material exists to feed this world 10 times over. The technology exists, all this exists. So why is half the world hungry, and why has that been the case for so long? And why are there now more food shortages, and why is all this going on, where it's going to be, if it follows through, it's going to bring people to their knees and make people very frightened with, because they don't know how they're going to survive. When people are scared, they're very easy to control. And that's when the government step in, or the idea of centralizing power, or Klaus Schwab, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Like all these ideologies step in, and then people are so scared and frightened and maybe even hungry that they're like, oh, our knights in shining armor, they're going to save the day. But understand, this is all orchestrated. At least that's my belief, and it's just validate everything that I see really validates that. And no, this is not me jumping on the conspiracy bandwagon. I've been saying this since I had my awakening in 1978, and I stunningly and starkingly shown the truth for a microsecond, and my whole life changed. And that's when I started my spiritual path, because I knew, I felt it, and I knew, and I've been seeing it, since the 80s, how the programming, how the machine works. It's not new. It's just, back then we called it the grand plan. I found the people that understood. This was even before David Icke, and before a lot of the people that people started to follow in the 90s. X-Files came out, conspiracy theories really became a thing then. But we were talking about in the 70s and the 80s, and my teachers even before that, in the 60s even. So anyways, that's the conversation that card has brought out. So I also have my medicine card today for our totem animal, or animal message for the week. So let's do that. So clearing mind. We go. Oh, did we get the wolf last week also? Wolves are the teacher. I'm pretty sure that is the wolf, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure we got wolf last week. Wolves are the teachers, the spiritual teachers, leaders of the pack, all that stuff. Maybe it's time to howl at the moon. I don't know, but wolf has come up 2 weeks in a row for us. Time to learn, time to teach. As a spiritual teacher, I probably learn more from my students than I do from most people. So, the teacher's the student, and the student's the teacher. That's how it works in conscious community. So wolf is the pathfinder. I like that. The forerunner of new ideas, who returns to the clan to teach and share medicine. You know what? That's the only line. I feel like that's the only line that we need. That says it all. And that very succinctly links into what I was saying about this card, the Seven of Cups, also. So be the pathfinder, be the trailblazer. It starts from within. It starts from by clearing all the stuff. That starts by learning how to become present and practice presence and learning how to cultivate the frequencies of the heart. Now, by the way, Thursday I did a live about the Ascension breathing exercises. Sometime next week, I'm going to do part 2 of that. These are the Ascension heart expansion exercises. And what happened on that live stream is that the power went out right at the second that I finished the last exercise. Poof, we were having a thunder shower. The power went out. So during that time when the lights were out and I was doing my meditation and everything, I started to think about like what's a good follow up, and I got I do exercises to expand and open my heart, and then the master teachers, which is the group or the energies or aspects of consciousness that I channel, that help me to get these ideas into. They also do the energy channeling. We work with them here on the Medium channel also, as a lot of you know. But anyway, they gave me like a few new exercises to do, and I started to do them, and I was like, oh, cool. I wanted some new Ascension exercises. So this is going to really help you to expand and open your heart center, what we're talking about. So it might happen on Tuesday, but it'll happen. So anyway, I've got a few new things to show you then. So here we go. So that's wolf medicine. Let's do our messages from the angels and get ready to close up for the morning. Shut down and let us all get on with our Sundays. Sunday fun day. Although it is the 16th day of the month, so sometimes a little caution is warranted when the number 16 is prevalent and prominent. But still, have fun. It's Sunday. It's the powers of the sun. Tomorrow's Monday, the powers of the moon. They just left out an O. Well, if anybody cares, Tuesday is Mars energy because it's the god two, the Norse god two. Two? two? No, two. Wednesday is Woden's day. That's Mercury ruled Wednesday, and Thursday is Thor's day, so that's Jupiter ruled, and Friday is Freya's day, so that's Venus ruled, and then Saturday, well, that's Saturn day. They just left out an N. I think we're all smart enough to figure that one out, except me. I need a book. All right. And here we go. Aurora. So the message here is you are flying high right now, which may threaten others, but don't descend because others will soon become inspired by your examples. This is Doreen Virtue's messengers from the angel card. So this is an angel divination deck. And to me, I'm seeing a lot of purple and violet, a lot of high, those are high frequency colors. I'm feeling more of the message that's consistent with what we've been talking about this morning, to not let yourself descend based on other people's negative viewpoints or what they're trying to do, through the media, through energetics, because the technology emits a certain degree of energetics. Another thing that's been coming out a little bit more on not the mainstream, but the but the sub-mainstream, whatever word that is really kind of breaking down like the possible fact that we just don't have natural weather anymore. That we've gone so into modifying the atmosphere and controlling weather and everything that we really don't have any natural weather. Like events are created and then the atmosphere needs to counterbalance whatever's created. But you know what? Things that are man-made and technology are always subject to flaws. That's another thing to remember in this age of the coming metaverse and social credit scores and all that stuff and transhumanism and interfacing with technology. I say this a lot because it needs to be said a lot. It's man-made. It's subject to glitches. My iPhone. It's not the brand new one. It's the next model. You're sophisticated and all of that. Like the whole freaking connection to the LTE and the 5G isn't working anymore with that, and it just randomly goes to different websites, and then sometimes it freezes. It's like technology is man-made and subject to flaws. We have to be aware of that, but spirit is perfect. Again, the balance. But I think this is part of the message here is don't let others or what's going on in the world bring you down. Have your, if you feel negative feelings or thoughts from situations or whatever, let yourself feel that. We're not suggesting to suppress your feelings and your reaction. We're suggesting to be aware of them, to step back and be aware of what you're feeling and how you react to those feelings, because that's how you start to learn about yourself and how you respond in social situations, because we tend to be blind to that. It's kind of like those Febreze commercials that you get nose blind. If you're living in a house with the same odors, you don't notice it anymore. So it's kind of like the same thing with our mindsets. They may be diminishing and negative, but we stop feeling them, we stop noticing them. So the thing is that you feel, if you get negative information or something happens, don't try to block or suppress your feelings. Just step back and be aware of them and let it play out, but stay in your heart, stay in your power, stay in your presence. You learn more about yourself and your programming, because our programming hijacks our emotions and causes our behaviors a certain way. Look at human behavior. It's all driven by what we're feeling. If we feel jealous, we say certain things. If we feel happy, we say different things. So the programming hijacks our emotional responses to our environment and keeps it in that limited, cyclical, circular mindset. And it basically, what it does is it takes the past and brings that into the present. Hey, I know I sound like Joe Dispenza now. So it takes the past and brings it into the present. So our past reality becomes our present reality, but the mind is also the creator of the future. So what we feel in the present has a vibration and resonance that translates into what we create in the future. So if we're not aware, we're basically just recycling the past into the present and creating the future based on the past, and wonder why change is so hard to come by. That's part of the reason. So anyways, that's what I have for you this morning. Thank you, everybody. And oh, yes. Wednesday at 4 o'clock, I'm going to be on a podcast called The Psychic Hour with Kelly Brickell, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Talking about things like psychic development and intuition, and how we really need that to grow and to navigate the changes in the world. So we're gonna do that. I'll have more information, like either on the channel or on the comment when this becomes a video on that. But that's gonna be this Wednesday, the 19th, 4 p.m. Eastern time. I knew there was something else. So thank you, everybody. Over emotion. Thank you. Yes. Live long and prosper.